Is this frustrating for you, or is this critical for you? You've started a process, you wanted to see it through, but you're not in control of that. So, yeah, are you frustrated, or is this critical to your business?
Well, this actually goes back to July of 2017 when we met with Rick Perry in his offices. And one of the things that Rick Perry said to me, I was able to get a few seconds with him, after the UPA meeting, with there's a lot of people in the room. He's effectively saying to us, look, bring me something that can be investigated and a determination can be made by the Department of Commerce and that can be put on the president's desk for a final decision. He noted to everybody in the room, this is the Uranium Producers of America, do not let this thing go through Congress. How right he was. You get in the middle of this, and in fact, it's so convoluted that it really is beyond frustrating. It can be confusing at times. And so we've dealt with this frustration. How critical is the working group? I think that it's vital. I think that we would love to see that $150 million a year, even though I consider it to be just a good first step, although I consider it to be wholly inadequate for preserving the front end of the fuel cycle. What is actually more important, and I think that you have to look at this holistically, what is happening with the Russian suspension agreement, because this can have impact for many years to come, and also what's happening in terms of our supply-demand fundamentals, because those are evolving and changing very quickly as well.
We'll come on to RSA in just a second. So I just want to address a specific point around frustration versus critical, which is, I know you've got inventory. And that has a value in your balance sheet. It's not the value you want because you don't believe that the price in the market is where it needs to be, and it'll go higher. You've also got a bit of cash in there as well because you've got contracts. So critical versus frustration. Does this affect your ability to do business in the next 6 months?
No, quite to the contrary. We have our board meetings today and tomorrow, and we've had meetings with our auditors, and we use PwC, best in the world. They're great guys. But unfortunately, every 5 years you get a new team assigned to you. So we got the new team this year. So we've had to ramp them up on everything that we do. But we're in a solid position. We know that we have 12 months ahead of us. If we did not, and I think this is important to emphasize, then we would be required to insert going concern language in our quarterlies. We have no such requirements. So we know that we've got solid runway for another year. And depending on what happens over the course of the next few months, we should be in a position where we're very hopeful that we will see the value of our inventory grow.
Okay, so I'm going to couple what's been going on there with the U.S. House Appropriations Committee's decision with what you're intimating, which is it's political. They're putting it off until the next until after the elections. Obviously, so that's a big moment. There's clearly a big moment for the industry as a whole. So I won't make this about the election. So let's talk about RSA. Well, unless you want to. Have you got something to say on that?
Let me just make one last comment with respect to the working group, and that is with respect to process. Now, as I mentioned to you, the Senate will not come with its appropriations bill. They're saying until the end of September. No decision is going to be made on the budget bill in its entirety until after the election. So what you have here is that immediately after the elections, you are going to see the House and the Senate engage in what are called conference negotiations. That is just a very nice term for saying that the pork will be flying. My pork's better than your pork. My pork needs to stay in the bill. Your pork needs to be removed from the budget. So more than likely, they will fight this out until the 23rd of December, when they're thoroughly exhausted and angry, and they will come up with a bill or a budget that none of them like, but they want to go home for Christmas. So they'll live with it. And that's what we all get to live with as a society here in the United States. How is that system? It's broken, but it is what it is. So that's what the process is, and that's how it will play out. And we will do everything in our power to make sure that $150 million is included in that final.